a note to self is response, reaction. Apparently it isn't, though I disagree actually, without deeply considering it. I'm not going to consider it, as my focus is on attitude, stopping smoking and not going all the way. That's might sound like 3 points. It has become the 1 point really, down to stopping smoking and not stopping smoking, not going all the way, and the attitude that smoking inherently is part of, if not so itself. Beyond that, I've got words as programs, ego, previous application, which perhaps would be ego considered in any case, perhaps, possibly, though I was having a quick look at it for purposes of making this vlog. Reaction, interaction. Is any interaction is reaction, is it not? Reaction, prefixed on a word, is concerning with regard to, regarding action. So interaction, inter prefixed onto a word without a hyphen, is to bury in the earth or tomb, to bury action. So surely there should be a hyphen on interaction. When what's verbalized in written form called when written down? Interaction, action or influence of people or things on each other. There's a sort of grammatical error going on there. That would say to bury action, action or influence, interaction. The two words inter and action placed together to create a new meaning. Beyond that, what was I told? No, an interaction is not necessarily a reaction, so she's not saying it isn't a reaction. It's just not necessarily a reaction. Well, that's like saying probably, isn't it? And very probably there's a probably not anywhere. You see, I want to look into this, because as far as I can see, as far as my experiences, any response is a reaction. You can't respond without reacting. I don't. We are definitely careful of human beings not to exist as reactors when interacting with others, as a reaction can only occur when thoughts, feelings, emotions are involved. It's getting differential there, isn't it? Thoughts. Well, I mean, I can understand interaction without thought, though could it actually be considered thoughtless as such? Really, I mean, even though you're not thinking about it, you're just dealing with it in the moment. It's consideration thought, definitively. Perhaps not. I'm spending too much time in the mind, that's for sure. I mean, breathing, coming back to myself. I'm still coming back to myself from wherever, I have no idea where. I mean, it must be 3 years since I first tried the 4 square breath and realised that, wow, that's brought me back to myself. From where? I hadn't really considered from where. It made sense that I'd been outside of myself. And in the mind is outside of yourself, because you're not the mind itself. And at the time, and prior to even understanding that, I never really considered myself part of the mind, though I spent plenty of time in the mind. I didn't see it as the mind at the time. I saw it as inner space, so I suppose it's just another name for mind, that. And my experience is inner space. It's very alluring, seductive. Lure, the mind lures. Still tries to lure me, still lures me, still talks to me, still backchats to me. And then, that's the thing with the backchat of it. Part of the time it's reassuring me, like most of the time it reassures me you're doing alright, blah blah blah. Then the other morning I'm waking, and the lucidity, and when waking I've found the lucidity on waking to be different from the compressed nature of mind later in the day once things have been considered. Can you consider outside the mind? How can you consider without the mind? All considerations must be mind-based, surely. I mean, really, to be in the moment, you're not actually making considerations as such, not definitively. You are just is, as. Maybe the considerations already occurred prior. It gets very complicated, doesn't it? I mean, anyone wants to know the complex nature of it, of anything considered. Listen to Vino's last presentation. Can't remember what it was called. It was only out the other day. It's about quantum time. And fucking hell. Complicated. 45 minutes. Actually, it wasn't just Vino, was it? It was Marduk as well. I've just been to the doctors, asking for my blood group. What do you need to know your blood group for? Well, I'm still trying to find a diet that provides me with correct sustenance and nourishment and is palatable, and I'm almost there, though I'm not quite satisfied with the provision. And I've heard that there are certain foods specific to certain blood groups. He just said no instantly. I said, well, you can say that, I can find out for myself. If I find out my blood group and then do some research and then try the foods that apparently correct for my specific blood group. Doesn't have my blood group on record. Just done a blood test before I had my teeth out too. Don't know what for. And I said, well, surely that's a sort of piece of basic data you'll have on record, a health record. You'll have my blood group. He later finds out they don't have it, and he says the only time we need to know your blood group is during a blood transfusion. Is to arrange a blood transfusion. He's very, very standard, my doctor. Nice chap, as it goes. I'm dealing with myself, and I ventured in as a consequence of this blood test. See, they're creating work for themselves. It's a self-interested thing. It's great. It's great to have healthcare. It's self-interested though, and it also provides for the pharmaceutical complex industry that's abusive, and well, they're just interested in making money. They're not interested in curing people as such. Though to level such an accusation at them would be viciously defended by them. Well, how can you say that? We're trying to save your life. I welcome death. it's time to die, let's go there, let's not linger. I don't want you to start your skill at whatever to allow me to live here longer in sufferance. I'm quite understanding actually that when you die though, that you don't remember anything, because how could you? What was the example given? You don't remember what happened when you were 2 and 3 years old. Can you remember everything that happened when you were 2 and 3? Because only things you can remember are memories, and memories define you, and the only reason you can remember the memories is because you're defining yourself with that memory. And I'm about undefining myself, and therefore deleting the memories through self-forgiveness. It works. There is no doubt in that. So this is a note to self about reaction. Is any interaction reaction? Or not? Can you interact without it being considered a reaction as such? And I know where the data is when I get round to this, though it shall be some time, as I am focusing on stopping smoking cigarettes, considering not going all the way, and attitude before I unfold any more of my self to myself, to enable myself to correct myself and my inapplication as life currently. That's the journey I mentioned earlier.